So good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us this morning for my first State of the City address. What I've learned in the last few days is it's much easier to attend a State of the City address than it is to write one. So I hope you enjoy. I have a few pages to get through here. I will ask, if there's anything, someone asked me a moment ago, was I nervous? I don't get very nervous, but the one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is I'm a bit long. And if you know me, that's not a surprise to you. So, it's a summer day, and I know it's a breakfast, and I know folks are busy, but I guess I'm going to ask a favor. It's an important discussion. If you have to leave, I understand you have something pressing. I would ask you to just crawl out on the so you don't distract me, just hands and knees, and we'll point you out as you leave. But if you could bear with us, it's an important discussion, and I know I'm a bit long, and it's sort of in my DNA, so I apologize for that. So I just ask you for some patience. Before I get started, there's several people that I'd like to acknowledge for their commitment and support to the people of St. John. I'm not going to repeat too much. The Chamber, thank you very much for all the work that the Chamber has done in helping pack the House. The corporate sponsors today, Emira New Brunswick, Rogers Communication, and Stuart McKelvey, thank you very much for your support of this event. Our provincial and federal colleagues, I'm not going to name you all, but thank you for your continued support of St. John and of me and of Council. Regional mayors, Clark, Grant, and Logier for being here today. Thank you very much, and I lose track of where everybody is, but thank you very much. I appreciate the working relationship. To my council colleagues, again, I won't repeat everyone's name, but thank you very much for being here. Thank you for putting up with me. Our council brings passion, commitment, and dedication to residents on a day in and day out basis. It's not an easy job, so I thank them. Our city manager and staff that are sitting behind and sort of, for some reason, right in front of me to keep me in line, I'm sure. Thank you for everything that you do. I work with this senior team on a daily basis, and I'm incredibly impressed with their dedication and commitment to the people of St. John. And they work a lot behind the scenes, but thank you for everything that you do on behalf of the citizens. City agencies, boards, commissions, community associations, we couldn't do it without you. Thank you. Today, I have a special table of guests, and I just wanted to very quickly highlight. I thought it was important to, to have some folks experience today's event, and I'll be looking forward to their feedback for me through their lens on what I spoke about and how we can make St. John a better place. So at my table, I have Kyle Rogers from St. John UMB's, the VP External. From the New Brunswick Mosque Association, Abdul S. Rahami, President, and Husni Al-Niaj. From the St. John Newcomers Resource Center, I have Romy Lay, William Tar, and Sun Yi, and I'll be asking them, as I said, to share their perspectives. As well, these are residents are indicative of the folks we want to attract and retain to grow St. John. We are an inclusive city. I'd also like, I'm not sure if I'm the first mayor, probably not the first mayor to bring his wife to the State of the City or her husband to the State of the City, but I may be the first mayor to bring his mom. I wanted to make sure I had at least one person that liked my speech today. So, but I should be concerned that Mom made me pay for her ticket. So, I'd like to thank my family. My wife Patty is here with me today. It's a job that's, at least the way that I tackle it, it's a job that's very demanding. Personal space is a foreign concept. If I haven't been told off in the run of a week, something's wrong. So I want to thank Patty for everything that she does to support me. Thank you very much. And most importantly, I want to thank the citizens of this great city for trusting in me and us in the work that we do and giving us their feedback. There's no shortage of feedback in St. John, and they can find us in many ways. Jackie reminded me to turn my phone off. I'm sure I'm getting personal messages about what I've said so far. So this is my first State of the City address, and I've been looking forward to the opportunity to speak with you. For me, this is an honest discussion on Council's priorities, commitments, and our city's challenges and opportunities. In fact, I'd like to believe it's a continuation of the type of honest, straightforward discussion I've been having since I became mayor. I made two promises to myself that I've carried forward in this role. First, that my values and principles would be non-negotiable. And secondly, that I wouldn't make promises that I couldn't keep. This is a challenge I appreciate, and it keeps me grounded and humble. So let me start by saying I love St. John. I grew up here, I raised my family here, and when I saw the need to change its course, I stepped up to try and make that happen. I ran on a mandate to grow our city, a movement we called Growsj. I work every day and bring that goal to reality. We work every day to do that. Currently, the path we're on is not sustainable. The widening gap between what we need and what we can afford has reached a crisis point. The corporation of the City of St. John is a $200 million business, and our costs continue to rise with demands coming from all directions. I should have said, I think I took it out as I was trying to call my speech down this morning, I'm going to be pretty blunt today. I'm going to try and mix that with positives and all the great things we know about our city. But from a leadership perspective, I think it's so important to have a blunt discussion. So that's where we're going. Our costs are rising at a rate that is unsustainable and our revenue is flat. Our city staff has been cutting back for many years and we're beginning to run out of options. By the nature of my job, I'm a politician. However, I often describe it as being an uncomfortable sweater. People today have very skeptical opinions of the role. I believe what we need from leadership is straight talk on the state of the city, a vision for moving forward and clarity on the role that each of us must play. I like to refer to myself as a glass half full realist. It's critical for us to embrace where we are in order to move forward with the development of a sustainable plan for our city, and most importantly, for our citizens. The following elements are critical for our future success: good governance, accountability, and bold actions for our city. Throughout my remarks, I'll touch on elements of economic, fiscal, and social well-being. When these elements are combined and working in harmony, I believe our community will thrive. Now, let me be clear. I love St. John. I believe we have a lot to celebrate, and I believe we are full of potential. I also believe that we need to improve the fundamentals and our competitiveness so that we are better positioned to grow our population, create jobs, and grow our tax base. We need bold actions, not small adjustments. We must embrace our reality and take swift action with a solid plan accompanied by bold actions. This is not just about growth, but being fiscally prudent and making sure dollars invested help us grow. No growth prospects, in my opinion, it should mean no investment. This is about resetting expectations. This is about empowering our staff and citizens to innovate and find new, more cost-effective ways to deliver good service. This is about adjusting expectations around wages that are not sustainable and will strangle our ability to grow. This is about our city becoming more competitive and attracting more investment by lowering our costs and passing the savings on to our taxpayers. This is about thinking long-term, not in a 4-year election cycle, but 10, 15, and 20 years ahead. This is about dealing with the root causes, fundamental issues, and setting St. John on a sustainable plan or path for its future. This is not about easy, and it's not about popular. Every day, I have the pleasure of experiencing firsthand how generous, resilient, and kind St. Johners are. I love working hard to make a difference in my community, and I really enjoy working with so many dedicated individuals who want the best for St. John. People like those in this room serve as ambassadors to our community on behalf of those who have chosen to live, work, invest, play here because of its quality of life and its affordability compared to other cities across the country. My State of the City address is much like our roadmap. I'll discuss later, and you'll find copies on your table. I'm supposed to bring a copy up, I think. I'd like to focus on 3 areas. I'd like to tell you about what I believe is our current state. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about a journey. Thank you, Wayne. And I'd like to talk to you about the destination. What does that look like? So, as we know, the global economy remains seriously challenged. We're all trying to do more or at the very least maintain the status quo with less. We're seeing new direction and policies nationally and internationally, and we're unsure what this will mean for our city. What we do know in St. John is that we're not immune to these headwinds. I thought I'd break down our current state into a bit of a SWOT. So let's talk about strengths. With our strategic location, access to transportation links, talent, diverse mix of business and generosity, we have the foundation for further success. We have a diverse economy with leaders in energy, big data, and health sciences fields. We have manufacturers and exporters, and we have entrepreneurs and startups, fostering a bright future for local business owners. Working with our economic development agencies, we have more focused plans and boards of directors interested in finding more wins and measurable results for the community. The following are excerpts from the June RBC Housing Affordability Report. The upswing in St. John's housing market that began in 2015 was in full force in the first quarter of this year. Home resales jumped 27% above a year ago to levels to a 9-year high. This report went on to say it remains much more affordable to own a home in St. John than any other major city in the country. As Canada's first incorporated city, St. John has enjoyed 232 years of rich history, vibrant arts and culture, world-class companies, historic uptown, and a resilient and committed people. We've played a critical role in the development of the country. As a port city, has been a key link to goods entering and leaving Canada along the eastern seaboard, and we're Canada's third largest port by volume in the country. We live in a vibrant city, a city on the move with a fantastic quality of life and culture. One of the things I love about St. John is that when we're faced with an opportunity or a barrier, we have a unique way of coming together to align efforts and gain momentum to get the job done. We're connected, we're passionate, and we're strong if we work together. So we have a lot to be proud of. Since being sworn in, I've seen firsthand people diligently working to foster strong working relationships with all levels of government. And we've had tremendous wins. I fully appreciate that for all levels of government, it's about results, and we remain fully committed to fostering and enhancing results-oriented relationships. Over the last 12 months, we've seen government invest in NBCC, the St. John Regional Hospital, the historic city market, Living SJ, and the recruitment of new jobs in the city, affordable housing, infrastructure, and just yesterday, the St. John Fieldhouse, the Greater St. John Fieldhouse projects, just to name a few. Now let's share some of the weaknesses. St. John is now past the point of small tweaks. Our current state requires bold and fundamental change and action. We must become powerfully coordinated and experts at developing strategy, execution plans, measuring our progress, and ensuring accountability for results. Let me share some of our fiscal reality. We are vulnerable. And I'm sorry, folks. There's only one slide, but I can send them to you. Or I can just talk to you about it more after. We're vulnerable as 92% of our revenue comes from property tax and the unconditional grant. Our revenue has been flat for the last number of years, having only achieved growth of 0.09%. Our general operating expenses. City wages and benefits made up 51% of the city's 2017 operating budget and are expected to increase by $2.3 million in 2018. Fiscal charges are also expected to increase by about $744,000. Our costs have been rising at a rate we can't sustain, and we have a structural deficit. Our costs are rising at a rate of 2.5% plus carrying costs, which equates to a $4 million per year challenge. The city's current establishment has declined 8.3% from a peak of 891 in 2008 to 817 in 2017. At our current rate of escalation, we'll need 4 to 5% growth to keep pace with our expenses. We've taken on substantial debt. Between 2005 and 2015, we doubled our debt, and our net debt now is at $250 million. This is a key indicator of a municipality's overall financial health, and as you can see from the slide, we have a very different story than our Tri-City partners. I'll talk about this later. We have unique challenges, and we need unique solutions for St. John. But this slide is very sobering when you look at $20 million in debt in Fredericton and $250 million in debt in St. John. It's a very different story. Some highlights, and you hear about this, and some of the folks, and I appreciate perspectives. You know, I talk about the size geographically of our city, and some people say to me, Don, that's just hogwash. You're just making excuses. But look at some of these numbers. You know, we have almost enough roads, if we stack them from end to end, to drive from here to Toronto. 1,246 lane kilometers of roads, 75 buildings, 69 water and wastewater facilities, 567 kilometers of water distribution network, 340 kilometers of sanitary sewer, 63 parks, and Ian, I put a shout out in here for you, 56 buses. So on tax rate reduction, our tax rate is too high. We need to find a way to reduce our tax rate, but here's what we're challenged with right now. The City of St. John has held its tax rate for the last 9 years, despite a very challenging cost environment. The following factors and our current reality limit our ability to find taxpayer relief. Our population has declined since the 1970s. We are a city with a large land mass and the ability to have 3 times our current population. In 1953, we had 73,000 people in St. John, and our city was 35 square kilometers. We're 67,000 people today and 315 square kilometers. We also struggle with a culture that can resist change. We also struggle with a culture that can resist change. While I absolutely agree we have challenges, there is an inaccurate perception that City Hall is poorly run. Council needs to continue its enhancement of governance, policy setting, focus on priorities, and living within our fiscal reality. Citizens of St. John are financially disadvantaged as the suburbs have grown significantly and have lower tax rates while using many of the amenities that they would normally have to pay for themselves. And those are paid for by the taxpayers of St. John. We need to have a bigger conversation within the greater St. John area as to how we leverage our infrastructure and resources to be the province's center for commerce, trade, and investment, where we all benefit. I believe this is a necessity for the long-term sustainability of our region, offers many advantages, and that this is a conversation we must start right away. Politics are complicated, and it takes significant effort to align priorities, policies, and support amongst municipal, provincial, and federal governments. Now, let me take a breath. While I believe these are significant challenges, we do have a number of advantages to be leveraged and built upon. Let's talk opportunities. As mentioned earlier, we have a tremendous opportunity to sell the affordability and beauty of our region to prospective employers and employees. We have 1,000+ jobs right now in St. John, New Brunswick, unfilled. We have a great opportunity in the short term to work with existing employers to match open jobs with candidates across the country, especially in cities like Toronto and Vancouver, where our affordability and quality of life would be welcomed. We have opportunities to align our job creation strategies with our population growth strategies. It's got, you know, I just made a note for myself in terms of newcomers. You know, I said recently at the World Refugee Day celebrations, it can't be just the placard at the airport, welcome. It has to be fully integrated. You're a St. Johnner. You have a job, you have a place to live, you have health care, you're fully integrated, and you're improving our community. You're enriching is the word I'm looking for, our community. It's the grind of that work. I'm excited by the opportunity of big data and the partnerships and opportunities between the regional hospital, Dalhousie Medical, and NBC and UMB. David's making me nervous, I'll speed up. I'm excited about the opportunities in our energy sector and the prospects related to Energy East, and some exciting opportunities with wind, solar, and tidal power to be developed. Our ability as a community to come together and fully understand our value proposition and what matters most to prospective investors. It's a project currently underway, and we expect this work to be completed by late summer. Once complete, our value proposition will allow us to market St. John to target markets across Canada and across the world. We have an opportunity to develop more focused strategies, better execution, plans to become more powerfully coordinated, and that means all of us, everybody in this room, citizens and everyone else. We have an opportunity on governance. We have an opportunity to enhance governance, especially around our finances, and this work has already begun with the support of our Finance Committee led by Councillor David Merrithew, who is our chair. We've implemented an asset management policy, and we're working through our policy enhancements that you see on the right-hand side. These are critical to our future success. And let's talk threats. As mayor, I'm committed to improving the quality of life for all St. Johners through growth and investment dollars in our city. We are experiencing tough economic times. Competition for investment is intense, but we can rise to this challenge. We must learn from our past successes and our failures so we avoid the pitfalls. We have to make advances in our ability to innovate and continue to cooperate to grow our city. Last fall, through Council's priorities, community engagement sessions, residents told us the #1 priority was growth and prosperity. And they also wanted a vibrant and safe city, valued service delivery, and fiscal responsibility. Growth is essential to our economy. When we have a strong and diverse tax base, it allows us to tolerate economic challenges a lot more easily. We are threatened by the fiscal storm clouds and our inability thus far to weather the storm. St. John has been kicking the proverbial ball down the field for years. I believe it's now imperative that we make the city more competitive and that we take control of our fiscal situation. We are no different than a household. If your income was declining, you shouldn't be pulling out your credit card. One of the near-term challenges we face is our provincial unconditional grant. The 2016 census showed that St. John's population dropped from 70,063 to 67,575. As a result, we're predicting the annual unconditional grant money we receive could drop by $3 million under the current formula. Altogether, the city could find itself looking at a deficit of $5 million plus for 2018. Our current residential tax base is not enough to meet our fiscal obligations. Compounding this further was the recent announcement from the provincial government regarding the freezing of property tax assessments. We've reached out to the province and the appropriate officials to assess the full impact of this decision and find a made for St. John solution. It's not an option under the Municipalities Act to run deficits, nor is it good business practice. Let's put our geographic situation into perspective. Area-wise, Moncton fits into the east side of St. John, Fredericton fits into the west side of St. John, and there's room for the town of Growsj. We service all this area with about the same population of Moncton and Fredericton. We had a water main break. It's one of my favorite stories because I have a piece of it in my office. We had a water main break before Christmas, and Brent McGovern, our commissioner, was telling me that the pipe that broke predated the American Civil War. We're old. We're tired, but I've got a cool piece of pipe in my office. So therefore, it's crucial and urgent for us to focus on the attraction and retention of people, jobs, and tax revenue. I believe the city is at a turning point, one that requires us to anticipate and shape our future by boldly pursuing new opportunities and by acting faster and smarter than ever. Let me share with you some good news, which includes some economic stats with thanks from David Campbell, the former chief economist from New Brunswick. The St. John CMA estimated GDP is approximately $6.9 billion, $6.9 billion, or more than 20% of the province's GDP. The Conference Board of Canada predicts real GDP growth in St. John will rise from 0.2% last year to 1.5% in 2017. Employment should rebound with 0.9% increase following a 0.8% dip in 2016. Firms based in St. John account for nearly 70% of the value of New Brunswick international product exports. Firms based in St. John like Xerox, IBM, TD Insurance generate tens of millions of dollars each year in service exports to other parts of Canada and beyond. St. John engineering sector is increasingly exporting its services outside of the province. There are over 5,000 businesses operating in the city of St. John. 90 manufacturing firms, 500 professional service firms. And in May of 2017, the St. John CMA had the second lowest unemployment rate amongst all metropolitan areas east of Ontario. Pretty good, 5.9%. The St. John unemployment rate was down by 3,000 since of May of 2013, the second biggest decline in unemployment amongst Canada's 33 big urban centres. Now, there's more to what makes our city community than statistics. On any day, at any time, there's a real buzz in our city. A productive activity is going on. Our streets are busy with people going to and from work, shopping, taking their kids to soccer, dance class, music festivals, and doing what St. Johners like to do best helping others. We're a close-knit community. It never ceases to amaze me how inspiring it is to travel around in St. John to the many community events that many of us attend and see how St. Johners and greater St. Johners respond to the needs of the community. Truly, truly inspiring. It's not any single volunteer, it's what we do en masses. So these efforts make St. John welcoming, comfortable, and make it the place we call home. For St. John, the challenge going forward will be maintaining and fortifying this progress and energy and building on our spirit and sense of community. We continue to welcome newcomers from all over the world to our city. I'm proud to say that St. John was the first home and remains home to close to 500 newcomers from Syria. Is it hot in here, or is it just me? Cultural diversity has always helped our city grow and shape the fabric of our community, and we can be proud that we continue to strive hard to make our community better. So what are we doing? We're embarking on a journey, and we started in what we believe is the right direction. As your mayor and council, we committed to growth and prosperity and our city's priorities: growth and prosperity, fiscal responsibility, making the city more attractive, quality of life, and looking at our services and becoming more efficient. We have in 2016 established the Growth Committee to support the community in achieving its long-term vision and goals for growth. Formed the Finance Committee again to focus on responsible, prudent financial management. Balanced the 2016 municipal budget without a tax increase for the 9th year in a row. Established the Central Peninsula Neighborhood Plan, which we'll talk more about. Secured a range of funding thanks to our provincial and federal partners to move forward on critical infrastructure. Last year we had a capital budget. We try to hold our capital budget at about $12 million, but the problem is we had $35 million in asks. We have, mega projects going on in St. John, not just the port modernization, but the Clean Safe Drinking Water project. I'd like to give a shout out to former Mayor Norton for his work in securing the funding, and we've continued on this massive project, the largest infrastructure water project in the province's history. Pleased to tell you it's on time and it's on budget. We've seen some positive improvements on our building program, which you'll see from the infographic on your table. We've had some good results there. We're working on continuous improvement, Lean, Six Sigma. Many of the private sector organizations will know about that. We're closing in on some great savings this year. $443,000 is the number I have, with potential of over $600,000 just on those projects, and that's just this year. And we've continued to try and balance in these tough times and investing in things like parks and recreation. In 2016, St. John set new records for both tourism expenditures and the number of visitors. Tourism expenditures increased 6.4% to $252 million. We had 1.6 million visitors and a 4.6% increase to overnight stays to 726,000 overnight stays in St. John. So 2017 and looking ahead. In a big picture sense, the City of St. John must continue to enhance its commitment to being fiscally responsible, a well-run community that continuously improves. We must be engaging and an engaging place where we're able to attract business that wants to invest and where leaders and employees want to live because of the amenities and quality of life we offer and enjoy. To me, we need to make sure St. John is well positioned to capture even more than our fair share of future investment, both from the private and public sector. We are seeing seeds of reinvestment in our city, which indicates early and tangible positive signs of economic growth in St. John. This includes the new Irving Oil headquarters, world headquarters, Vancouver-based Cardinal Path Technology, recently located in our uptown. The $205 million, I might have that number wrong, I'm sorry, Jim, port modernization. An announcement just yesterday by Port St. John that they've secured a new container service with the 3rd largest provider in the world. Congratulations, Jim. The relocation of the global leader Cook Aquaculture to our uptown core. It's a great new project and a great decision. We applaud them and we thank them for that. Great new local project with Morinville Mechanical, partnered with Irving to use the barge terminal. And this is just to name a few. So where are we going as we move forward? We must stick to our city's municipal plan, Plan SJ. and the direction that the others provide, Move SJ, Play SJ. That's all about right-sizing our city, bringing density to our city, and they're tough decisions. Closing parks, they're tough. And what's even tougher is finding the courage to explain to people this is why we're doing it. We have to change the way we're doing business. We have to reset expectations. And, you know, our growth roadmap talks about some things that have been a little bit controversial. I can tell you, I hope you're getting a sense with the fiscal challenges that we face, like growth is no longer optional. I didn't go to bed one night and wake up the next morning with a bright idea to start selling off what people consider parklands. But we're looking at every option and every stone that we have, and we have that obligation to turn them over and look to see if there's an opportunity and find some balance. So, as I noted, St. John doesn't operate in an economic vacuum. We need to grow people, jobs, and our tax base. We need to retain our youth and attract newcomers to build our population. We need to provide the housing options that people want. We need to continue to support industrial manufacturing and develop opportunities in the knowledge sector. We need to ensure our existing workforce can meet the needs of our employers. And when I say we, it's the collective we. Is that our role? Maybe it's not our role, but we need to powerfully coordinate and bring people together and make sure that we're moving forward quickly. Therefore, we must begin thinking in terms of smart and sustainable growth. At a very basic level, this means making the most of the resources we have available to us. Over the past 5 months, the city has taken a hard look at our future growth prospects and fiscal situation. We're forecasting a flat assessment growth rate for next year. If this trend continues, St. John will be left with few choices to either cut costs aggressively or raise taxes, or some combination of both. We must grow. I'm not willing to kick the ball down the road any further. The time to address our challenges is right now. If municipal government was merely the fiscal administration and execution of specific services, this would be simple and clear. But I propose that we are more than that. As stewards of our community, we must harness and galvanize the energies and desire of our people, our community groups, and our businesses to make St. John the choice where people dream, live, enjoy work, raise their families, and invest now and in the future. Having no plan is a recipe for failure. With the challenges mentioned earlier and with intensifying competition for population and business, we need to focus together to put and maintain St. John on the map of the most desirable communities. We want people across the country to find value in our city's affordability, balanced and sustainable East Coast lifestyle. When we think about our community and its prospects both today and in the future, we often focus on what's most immediate. Things like business openings and closures, construction and demolition, and people leaving. But we also need to pay attention to the long-term fundamentals. St. John is getting a lot of that right. And we need to recognize and support what we have. We also need policy and legislative support from our provincial partners, government partners. St. John has a unique history formed by Royal Charter in 1785 and very unique challenges. We need a new deal for St. John that gives us the flexibility and the options to become more sustainable, competitive, and to deliver real cost relief to taxpayers. We simply can't achieve this playing with today's rules. We rely on an unconditional grant of $20 million a year. I told you earlier about the vulnerability that we're in. If that drops $3 million, without cutting or raising taxes, we can't solve that. If that goes to $5.4 million, we really can't solve it. It's not that we don't have any ideas, it's we'll be cutting and slashing or raising taxes. So we need support and we need help. And I told Jack to at least wait till tomorrow if he's mad at me just to call it. But look, it's nothing we haven't said, Jack. I mean, we need support. And we want to get off the unconditional grant. We want that pool to be shared out. We don't like having the reliance on that grant, but something is fundamentally broken. When we have a GDP and an economy in this province that's 20% of the province's economy, and we have to rely on a $20 million grant to survive. So 2017 cannot be seen in isolation. That would be operating year to year. That would be thinking tactically and reactively, not strategically and proactively. That would be backward thinking, and we must plan for a successful future. Let me tell you about the roadmap that's on your table, 3645. This document has three main pillars. I've already mentioned them: grow the population, grow the number of jobs, and grow the tax base. 6 main strategies and 45 actions. We didn't want to call it a plan. Probably rightly so. There's some perceptions around that St. John just produces plans and we don't action them. We wanted to call it a roadmap. The committee members, if we had called that a plan, they would have stormed out of the room. And I am thrilled to tell you, we are storming through this roadmap. We are pushing through it. And we could not do it without the support of the committee, but we could not do it without the support of our exceptional staff. Phil Ouellette, Jacqueline Hamilton, Amy Poffenroth, and all of the others that I'll forget. And let me just tell you where we are. We contemplated to have all of the actions in that plan done, I'm going to say by the first quarter of 2018. But let me tell you, it's not a perfect plan. It's not without controversy, but it's got some great elements. For example, launching 6-story wood construction, more density, lowering costs for construction, innovation, issuing a request for proposals for property and development at the corner of Canterbury and Princess Street, Canterbury and Grannon Streets to bring more density in the uptown. By the way, the only place to have grown in the last census period. Grew by 15%. There's a vibrancy, there's a quality of life there. And frankly, it's a niche that we have. I'm looking at Bob McVickery, Bob and anyone else in the real estate. You guys know it. I went on the open house. Patty and I want to move to the uptown. We've got, yeah, thank you. We've got 2 kids for sale if anybody's looking, so we can make that move. I'm contemplating right now, Keith Brito, I'm going to rent 2 apartments, one for them and one for me and Patty. And if I'm bugging Patty enough, perhaps 3. So one for me, one for Patty. But we toured on the Uptown St. John housing tour, 250 people sold out, and there was a lot of vibrancy, there was a lot of focus on the uptown. So that's great. We've initiated a real estate practice realignment. We're shaking things up. We need to shake things up. What we've been doing is not working for us. And we've got to push through the resistance of those changes. That's culture shift, it's change. I understand it's complicated. But if you're going to make me choose between growth and getting caught up in all that, you already know my answer. We've hired a population growth manager. Now, this is not meant to be a critique of past administrations. Politics is complicated. Our population has been declining for 40 years. We've never had anyone, I think this is factual, we've never had anyone at the City of St. John own population growth. We do now. We've hired a population growth manager who will own and be the liaison for population growth between the provincial, federal governments and our local agencies. We've also reshuffled, and we've got a new financial analyst position. We don't have the data. We need the data, so I want to see data on a quarterly basis at minimum that tells us exactly where we are so we know how we're doing. You can't argue with that data. Surprise, quarterly, city manager, I was looking for quarterly. I wanted to fit that in there for you. So we need data, and we're making some very positive shifts here. We've launched the Neighborhood Action Plan, implementing significant progress and accelerated on the Dangerous Buildings Program and unsightly premises. We were able to develop, we've got a great project happening in the uptown around the Wellington and Union. Now it's controversial, but we've got a good project coming there to rejuvenate the Wellington Row and the Union Street areas. So let me tell you about our progress, and I know I'm almost done. I think I'm almost done. To date, on the roadmap that some of you were looking at, we've completed 16 projects. We have 15 currently underway and 14 pending. So to the staff at the City of St. John, I applaud you. We launched this roadmap. We launched the roadmap on, I think, March the 31st or 1st of April. So great progress. Common Council, the Growth Committee, and the city staff are excited by this journey. So not everyone in our community is prospering, though. We have 5 priority neighborhoods, a high rate of child poverty, and some who rely heavily on shelters and food banks to survive. This is not okay. While I appreciate this is a provincial and federal jurisdiction, we most certainly can advocate and push for a more coordinated effort and enhanced results. We must bring everyone on our journey. St. John is a connected community and compassionate. This is evidenced by the work of our social agencies, faith communities, and service clubs that reach out to those in need, including the people in St. John that live below the poverty line. That is why we're working with Living St. John, the province and the federal government, to fight generational poverty. And I just want to sort of rephrase this because I don't remember when, because last week seems like a month ago. But we had a bold day. I'm sort of looking over to Jack or Minister Doherty and others in the room. We had a bold day in St. John, it seems about a month ago now, where the government announced $10 million. $10 million to fight generational poverty in St. John, New Brunswick, above and beyond. Thank you. Above and beyond what we're already doing. It's deeply personal to me, this issue. I've cried many times in the room talking about poverty and the impact that it has. And I'm looking around at the leaders in this room, and I'm saying, let's not waste it. Let's not, embarrass the minister or anyone else in this room. Let's not embarrass ourselves. Let's dig down. Let's make bold, transformational change. So, although the world is changing, I'm skipping here. We know how to do this. Hard to believe I'm skipping, I know. Although the world is changing, we know how to do this. This is deep in St. John's DNA. It's what we've been known for in the past, and it's what we're building on our economy on today. We're described as gritty. Companies like Moosehead Breweries, GE Barbers, and Source Atlantic all turned 115 years old this year. They know what and how important innovation is in any business, and there's no question that it's crucial to our survival. And we continue today. A great recent example is AI, a company founded by UMB PhD James Stewart. AI uses artificial intelligence algorithms to monitor and analyze video feeds, and he has captured international attention right here in St. John, from St. John. James isn't the only example, of course, but he illustrates the enormous economic potential our entrepreneurs bring to this community. Entrepreneurs deserve our support and encouragement, and we need more of them. And there's a lot of amazing work going on. St. John needs to succeed in a modern and global economy, and it's widely recognized that a strong post-secondary sector is critical infrastructure for innovation-based economic activity. We're fortunate in St. John to have both UMB and NBCC. In fact, higher education is one of our region's major employers and contributes economic expertise for our region. Innovation matters to our economy. The research and training taking place at UMB and NBCC is diverse, and it's easy to connect this work with our environment, the potential of our people, and the strength of our businesses. But it's also fostered a culture of entrepreneurship and putting ideas to work. So, let me summarize. This is where the rubber hits the road. We need to be proud. I think I may have skipped there somewhere. I want to make sure that I mention the collaborations between Dalhousie Medical, UMB, and NBCC. I want to make sure I don't leave anyone out there. So, in summary, this is where the rubber hits the road. We need to be proud of our rolled up the sleeve, get it done work ethic. We're also a city that's smart, innovative, and globally connected. It's time for people outside, and some of us inside St. John, to see this reality. Everyone in this room has a role to play in sharing this story. So what did I hope you to take away from today? I do want you to be positive. Our city and people are resilient. We have a plan. We are committed to actions to keep St. John as a thriving, prosperous, inclusive community through strong fiscal management, innovation, partnership, and cooperation. We all have challenges. Our city is changing. I'm asking you to help us make this change in our own way. We have a roadmap and stakeholders in place and a focused council and staff that understand our priorities. We will continue to improve how we work with the community as we work through the changes that are taking place. Our city is focused on valued service delivery, productivity through technology, and decision-making through engagement and measurement. St. Johners must celebrate what we love about St. John and identify the rallying points of our journey. As we continue towards our destination, what can you do to help St. John get there? The business community, We ask you to share your success stories and services globally and work jointly with our economic development agencies to partner to drive growth and expansion. Our city agencies have realigned to partner and play a vital role in our roadmap for smart growth. I want to thank the boards and staff of Enterprise St. John Waterfront Development, St. John Industrial Parks, the Human Development Council, Opportunities New Brunswick, and others. They are working collaboratively to attract investment and grow our economy, and they've been fully committed to achieving results. Government. We need our representatives to continue to work hand in hand to have a common shared voice and priorities so that we can leverage all our resources and do what is best for our city and in turn for our province. When we create impressive wins together, it is our constituents who benefit. Issues like tax fairness, provincial grants, and municipal legislation can't be a one-size-fits-all. We need a new deal for St. John with customized solutions. Residents, we need you to entice your friends and family to come visit, live or work in the city, and promote the city at every opportunity. St. John has won numerous awards in recent years for being the most beautiful, affordable, intelligent, friendliest, happiest, and cultural cities in Canada. We have a lot to be proud of and offer. Be proud. Be proud. Focus on the positives. Be an ambassador. To city staff, we thank you for all you do to serve the people, to please, for all of city staff, not just the ones here, our entire team. I'm pleading with you. We need your help. We need your continued support. We need you to continue to innovate and drive efficiencies to help lower our costs. It's critical that we work together to make the city more competitive and that we add value for current and future residents. You can and do make a difference. Please help us continue this important efficiency work. We can play a role in promoting the city to the world. Share your success stories, community events, and all of the great things we love about St. John in coffee shops, at gatherings, and on social media. Push back against the negativity. Push back at it. I have no problem with a difference of opinion or a difference of perspective, but I mean, some days I feel like I could post a picture of a puppy and it'll turn into a negative post about how we do nothing well. This is an incredible city. I said, move to Toronto for a couple of years, and no disrespect to Toronto, right? I mean, it's like, we have oceans, rivers, parks, amazing people, traffic, I'll share with you, we were doing some construction work, and I know we're doing construction work. Thank you for your patience. We're trying to work through this monumental projects. We're doing some construction work down here by the Aquatic Center, and I was at Java Moose, and I go to Second Cup too, and many other coffee shops. But what I love about Java Moose in this case is before I've even walked in the door, they're pouring my coffee. They say, "How are you doing today, Don?" That is so special, right? You don't get that in Toronto. You don't get that in Vancouver. And cash in that $1.5 million house and bring your equity to St. John. Retire here if you have to. Work here. We have 1,000 open jobs. Let's scream from the rooftops. I was challenged recently I'm glad Mr. Irving isn't here today. I would have been challenged again today. I was challenged recently to get on the plane to Toronto. I think Team St. John should get on the plane to Toronto. I think we should go this fall. I think we should have a strategy, though, and I think we should have the connections, and I think we should bring the major employers with us. And I love that stuff because I'm a business development guy. I'm a hunter. I love that stuff. Pardon?
A couple of realtors.
Excuse me, Bob. A couple of realtors. Any realtor that's in the room today should be on Team St. John, right, Bob? You show up, you get to participate. Exactly. To tell the story, though, is the point. We need to get louder, prouder about our city. And I was in Java Moose that day, and someone said to me, "Are you the mayor?" And I took a step backwards, and I said, "Well, no, Mel Norton's still the mayor," I said. I said, yes, sir, I am. And he said, "F you." And I said, "Really? Okay." Usually I can get to 9 o'clock before someone's told me that. 7:30 in the morning, right? And I said, "Well, tell me what's going on." He said, that traffic and blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Oh, okay." So, well, tell me more. I said, well, you drove to work and I got down here and I had to wait in a line. I said, well, how long did it take you to get through it? He said, it took me 7 minutes. So, moved to Toronto. You couldn't get to your car in 7 minutes, right? Yeah. Although maybe that's human nature, because when I did go to get my coffee yesterday, I had to wait in line behind one person. So, St. John's Council's commitment to residents is to be a well-run city that strives each day to do better, engage more, and offer excellent customer service. We want residents always to be proud and confident of their city because it is well-managed, forward-looking, and accountable. For me, I see a city that offers good quality jobs, healthy, vibrant neighborhoods, solid and efficient infrastructure, and is fiscally responsible. A city where youth, newcomers, and seniors want to live, raise their families, and where businesses want to locate and expand. Our biggest challenge is to maintain and continue to improve the quality of life that we enjoy and know in St. John for everyone. We have a lot to be proud of in this city. I want to thank all of you for this time this morning and your continued passion for this city. I hope we can count on your support and participation throughout 2017 and beyond as we implement the roadmap and we aim to grow. Meeting our aggressive targets requires a community effort. I need your support to make this happen, and I will continue to solicit and engage your participation. I've learned a lot in the first year and a bit. I've learned that a year and a bit feels like 5 years and a bit. I've learned a lot. I reflected on what kind of speech to deliver, and I hope I found some balance. We've got a lot of very positives. If any of you have heard me in the past, some of this shouldn't be a surprise. I talk about this almost every day. But when I began my discussion about my non-negotiables being my principles and my values, I wouldn't have been able to live with myself without delivering a pretty candid speech. So I hope you understand. So please stay tuned as we respond to the call. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in this journey together, and together we'll continue to build an awesome city. Thank you very much.